Green Man! 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 Holy YouTube video, Green Man!
Hey there, it's Friday, it's the Grey Man channel. It's time for not County Comics, it's time for my birthday books. A little look at some of my birthday books. So yeah, my birthday, September 1969. I've been collecting all the books from there. I've only got a couple more to go now. And every Friday I go through them and give you like a synopsis of the stories. Basically have a little look in depth at the comic book and, you know, we can chat about it. If you, I'll make some comments, and if there's something you want to add to it, then please do so. And you know, enlighten me on anything that I get wrong, or ask me any questions that I might have the answers to if you're interested. Let's have a look first of all. Then let's go from left to right. Let's start off with the witching hour. It's 12 o'clock, the witching hour. So this is number 4 of the witching hour. It's quite a good one actually, from what I recall. There's 3. I'm assuming it's in every single one of the books. There's 3 witches who go around telling stories, or they tell us different stories in each one. So there's a Mildred, Cynthia. Cynthia's the good-looking one. Mildred, and what's the other one? Not Morgoth. I can't remember her name now. It'll come to me in a second. No, but it was being here anyway. Oh, that's so annoying. But I'm doing this stupid thing again where I'm not reading comics recently. I keep meaning to, like, but I'm not giving myself enough time. I wanted to read it, do the little blog about it, and then when I come to actually talk about the story, I'd have the information more readily in my head. But unfortunately, I didn't get around to doing it again in that direction. So this one, the 3 witches basically go and visit some new neighbours that are on the other side of the swamp, or wherever it is they live. Yeah, we're from across the swamp. So obviously these 3 witches turn up and sort of scare the 2 people living in this house, all 3 of them, husband and wife, their little girl, and basically decide to start telling them stories. So I'm still annoyed I can't remember the name of that other witch. I know it begins with an M. It's something from, I'm sure it's something Arthurian. It's not Morgana, though, I don't think. Mildred. Why do I think it was? What was the other one called? I've completely forgotten again already. So. Was it Mildred? Cynthia was the good-looking one. No, it's 2 of them. I can't remember now. I'm sure. Right, no, I think Mildred is one of them, and Mordred or something. No, yeah, it's Mordred. Is it Mordred? I don't remember. Anyway, so this one you might recognise because I did this in one of my recent 13 Nights of Halloween. This guy's sitting alone in his house. There's all crashes and noises, and he thinks his house is trying to kill him. So he goes to visit this guy who's supposed to be an exorcist. Says, my house is trying to kill me. He comes in, turns up, he sees the painting on the wall of the man's wife. And he said, oh, it's my wife who's haunting me because she thinks I let her die. I tried to get to the doctor in time, tried to get a doctor out to help her, but I wasn't quick enough. And, she's, haunting me, basically. So he does some magical thing. He lights some blue flame and brings him down into like the netherworld to confront this being here, the one of whom they search. He sends like little demon hounds of hell after them. So he says, "You got to go save us. Don't worry about these little hounds of hell. Go and confront that figure on the hill there." So he confronts him. It turns out to be himself, and so basically he blamed himself for what happened to his wife. So it was supposed to be his own self-recrimination, his own guilty conscience, even though he had no necessarily reason to be guilty. He just wasn't quick enough to get the doctor in time. I don't think he deliberately held off on getting the doctor, but he's just like blaming himself for his wife's death when he shouldn't have done, like, needlessly. So basically he says, yeah, I wasn't really sending you to hell. That was just a post-hypnotic suggestion. I'm not really I'm a psychiatrist. I'm not an occult investigator. I knew that it was just your guilt complex that was making you, imagine all these things happening, and maybe even causing them with the power of your own mind. You're such a heavy guilt complex that you're making things happen around you. You became your own poltergeist. And she goes, "Oh, so I'm all safe now. Nothing's going to happen now. No, you're all safe now." It's just a psychological wound. And then just as he thinks he's safe, suddenly the house starts up again, breaking things. So it's like, so much for the scientific method, readers. Looks like Howard will have to find himself another head shrinker. So there you go. And then she passes the book over to Cynthia to tell her own story. There's Cynthia, the sexiest witch in comicdom, I think. Yeah. She's got a story called Disaster in a Jar. This guy is selling stuff door to door. It turns out to be like an anti-aging cream, not anti-aging, but a reverse aging cream. She said, they give me a chance. This is the best thing to make old faces look youthful again. And eventually, I think he breaks up a new batch. Make these samples extra special is what he says. This is a bit weird as well. There's sudden, like, just off camera, there's sort of no kind of relation to what's going on in the story. It's some bloke throwing a woman out of a window. But it doesn't actually feature in the story anywhere, unless it's the fact that it's just to emphasise that she's looking older, and he's saying, "Bye, you old hag," and I don't know. There's some comment on ageing, but anyway. So this old dear tries his ageing cream. I think he's giving away his free samples. I think, and there she's beautiful again. Why, Moody, you're beautiful. So basically, this stuff catches on like wildfire. People are throwing their money at him. No more will I have to put my makeup on with a trowel, this woman's saying there. And they're all looking beautiful. Right, but he's wanting to make money out of it. It was given away for free. So what he's putting some component in it makes people's hair fall out. So they're all beautiful now. They've all got no hair. But it just so happens that I think he's put all his money into wig sales or something like that. He owns every wig in the USA, every facility for manufacturing wigs is under one man's control. A certain Mr. Amos Canby has cornered the wig market. So he made them all look beautiful, but he made all their hair fall out. Just so he could earn some money, basically. So he was giving away free samples because when he was trying to sell it door to door, everyone would buy it from him. But when he gave away free, obviously everyone wanted something for free. But he got his money by making sure that it made people's hair fall out, and then invested heavily in the wig market and buying up all the wig set shops and that. So yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. Soon thereafter, Amos Canby disappeared, and folk wondered, was he a genius chemist or a disciple of the devil? Well, I say he was neither, and I ought to know. You see, Amos Canby is my uncle, and a wonderful warlock, and terribly rich, I might add. I wonder if that's suggesting that Cynthia uses these. Maybe Cynthia uses that youthful cream herself. Maybe that's why she's a good-looking witch, while the others look old and haggard. Yeah, maybe she's using the magic face cream on herself to make herself look good-looking. Right, and then the last tale, still annoying, I can't remember the bloody name of all the three witches. So it's Cynthia, Mildred, I'm sure. And I'm sure the other one was like Arthurian, but so annoying. Right, I'll be in the blog anyway. I'll put it in the blog after I've finished kicking myself. Right, so we come to the last witch's tale here, A Fistful of Fire. It's back in the days of Salem, the witch trials. And these two guys, they've obviously just burnt a witch to death. And now they're walking out across the countryside, going back to their houses or whatever. Talking about black magic and witches and so forth. Right, and I think some witches sort of jump out of them, like a coven of witches jump out of them. A coven has decided to take revenge. What is that you say? That noise grows louder. What is it? Found you, we have Seawolf dog. Now you shall die a death of flame. Good Lord, Andrew, what are they? Witches, friend Samuel, the very witches you claim could not exist. I know not who you are, stranger, but if you be a friend of Judge Sewell, then you too must perish. Hold, daughters of the night, beware of what you plan to do. Yeah, and I think what happens is one of these guys that was walking along, he happens to be a warlock himself, so he basically stops them from killing him and the other. I think, yeah, so he sends them down into the brink of hell. His power exceeds our own, sister. No mere mortal could possess such knowledge. We must face the very King of Darkness himself. Flee before it's too late. And so the judge says, who are you? You are correct, Judge. Those who you burned were not true witches, deluded fools all, who had but a bit of power and thought they were mighty. Yes, all of these tonight, weak fools, all of those you buried, weak fools. Would a real witch let herself be put to death? So tell me, Samuel, what will you do now that you're face to face with a real life warlock? There you go. So, yeah, I think I was having a chat about do witches exist. He was trying to convince him that witches didn't exist, but he really was a witch himself, or a warlock rather. There's an advert for the House of Secrets. That's where Abel debuted. in the House of Secrets. Right, and then at the end, this family have all been scared. They basically, the witches say, whose tale was the best? Now that was a tale to terrify the soul, to make the strongest cringe in fright. A tale worthy of a true witch, better than Cynthia's vivid wisp of human fantasy. Don't make me laugh, sister. I guessed the end of your story at its start. Warlocks indeed. It was so out of it. And you should talk, you mod misfit, you mediocre mini-minded sorceress. You put our neighbours to sleep with your drivel. Didn't she? No, her tale was just as frightening as both of yours. What? Come on now, which of us told the most spine-tingling story? They were all terrible, we really can't decide. And we don't want to decide. Leave us alone, get out. Boiling bats of Beelzebub. Oh, Mordred, it was Mordred. So Mildred, Mordred and Cynthia, the name of the witches. Looks like we kind of put them on. Looks like we kind of put them all up tight. Mordred, we've been insulted, What that mean? Oh, Mordred, we've been insulted, you know what that means. Where fix them? Oh, will we ever fix them? Hee. They'll not ruin our neighbourhood. This will teach them. Humph. No class at all, sisters. Zap. And they send their house flying off into the cosmos, basically. So basically they killed that family. The two adults and the child have just been... I don't know, maybe they were sending them away to another place rather than having their house there. But it looked to me like the place was going off into space where everyone inside it was going to die. But, who knows. But yeah, that's the witching hour anyway. Once again, inexpertly read out by me. I really need to put more time into these because I keep thinking, I'll do this. I'll get round to doing that today. But I've been trying to catch up on my comic book reading. So I've got so many new comics recently, and I've not been reading them quickly enough. I've said I'm not going to buy any more new comics until I've finished reading the ones that I've currently got. Right, so this is Fantastic Four. The Scroll Takes a Slave. Number 90 from Fantastic Four. Yeah, they just finished off a fight with the Mole Man. They're in the Mole Man's base, trying to find out some of his secrets. I think they actually captured the Mole Man, but I forgot about this. This page, I couldn't actually read it because look, it's sealed up. It's still connected. You can't even see that. Yeah, it's not open properly. I'd have to cut that open. I will cut that open because I can't read it otherwise. I remember that. I wanted to do it with a pair of scissors though when I got home. I never got a chance to. Right, so I can't read that page. Yeah, basically the Mole Man is their captive, but they rather foolishly, considering Reed Richards is meant to be one of the most intelligent people in the world, they managed to let him escape. He's like, oh, I'm all blind, I can't hurt you, blah blah, take advantage, blah, whatever. Then he just goes, woo, fat time for the Mole Man to make his greatest escape. When he's got no super strength or anything. I mean, you'd think any of them could catch. Is that Crystal with him as well? She's got blinking gravity powers, isn't she? And Reed Richards could have stretched out one of his long arms and grabbed him, or Johnny Storm could have flamed on and grabbed him. But I suppose they wanted him to escape so they could use him in a future story or something. I mean, they couldn't have done that anyway. But yeah, so he managed to escape right out from underneath the fingers of 5 members of the Fantastic Four. See, they're obviously not as smart as they should be because there's 5 of them and they call themselves the Fantastic Four. It's like, come on guys, sort it out. Or maybe Crystal is just joining them for this one mission. Alright, I think Ben Grimm gets a little bit annoyed about some of the things that they say to him. Sympathy is a precious thing, Ben. Don't ever knock it. Nuts! Maybe I'm crazy, but I've always figured the way to fight super badly was to knock a few heads together. Maybe it's me who's in the wrong racket. I'm gonna cut out of here, go and see Alicia. She never makes me feel like I'm on the bottom of the barrel, so he goes off. And then we cut to another scene where a silent saucer glides to a secret land on the outskirts of New York. And now begins my hunt for the greatest prize of all, the hapless human whom men call the Thing. I'm saying halfless for us. I thought that made no sense. Yeah, so it's a scroll, and he's got some super technology with him that he shows off here. First, he makes his ship invisible. Then he bashes some poor bystander on the head and assumes his appearance. And now he's on the lookout. He's going to make his way to New York so he can get hold of Ben Grimm for some unknown reason. Right, then we've got Alicia here, blind woman. She's babysitting for, I'm not sure how long ago he was born, but it's so Franklin. So Franklin Richards is older than me. Wow, when was he? When did they have him in the comic books? I wonder, did they go for the whole pregnancy stage? Was Miss the Invisible Woman, was she like pregnant for, I don't know, 5 years or something? Knowing comic books, I've got to wonder about that. Or did they like do it in the course of like one month's book? It wouldn't surprise me with comic books. A kid takes forever to like. What is he now? Is he a teenager now? He must be a teenager by now, surely. I don't know. Anyway, right. So, oh yeah, the Mole Man's base that they were sitting in trying to discover the secrets from starts to sort of like sink back down under the ground or something, and this looks like it's going to blow up, or the things aren't looking good for it anyway. So they had to quickly get out before it was destroyed and finish them off. I think they were thinking about making it into a home actually at one point. I'm sure I remember reading that, and I was thinking about living there or something, or making it into a base. But yeah, it disappears under the ground anyway, so there's no good to. They can't do anything with it. Right. Meanwhile, the Skrull has arrived in town, taking on a look of another face, and he's on the drive out looking for. Yeah, I think he's got the signal grows stronger. My quarry must be directly ahead. So he has got some kind of magic tracker. Well, not magic, but high technology tracker. Right, here we see the thing is signing signatures, signing fan stuff. Right, and then he wanders off because he's, I've had enough now. That's it. Sorry, ladies, that's all for now. And he goes trudging off. And here is the Skrull ready to sneak up on him. Right, yeah, he comes up and he makes it, he says, Ben, this is life or death, it's an invasion from outer space. So basically he wants to get him away from the crowds so that he can do whatever it is he wants to do with him. So he makes up this plot to make the thing go with him. Right, they're wondering what's happening to Ben. Where is he? They want him to pick him up in the pogo plane. I love some of the adverts. Too skinny? New scientific discovery helps you put on weight. Play guitar in 7 days or money back. California Angel Forks. New, showy, strong, fast. Makes your bike an exciting dragster. Oh dear. Fear no one. Get steel muscles quickly with super isometrics. Who else wants a He-Man body? 1,000 tricks. Be a magician. Yeah. So this Skrull in disguise has made thing come out. I think it must be the site of where his ship is. So that when he knocks him out, he'll be able to take him off into space easier without having to drag his body quite so far. So that's what this is all about. Tricked me real good, didn't ya? Okay, waffle ears. What do you do about it? I shall make you my prisoner. Not if I got anything to say about it. The pity is you don't, thanks to the way my nerve gun grows. Although you feel nothing, your nerves are deadened instantly. However, I believe I did make one mistake. I said you'd be my prisoner. I should have said my slave. Now it's time for you to leave this planet, for the great games are soon about to start, and we must not keep your masters waiting. Next episode, Ben Grimm, slave. So yeah, looks like he's off to space. Right, King Size Special number 3, The Avengers. Starring Captain America, together again as you wanted them. Thor, Iron Man, Giant Man, Wasp, Submariner. Alright, now this I'm sure is a reprint, although it doesn't actually tell you in here where it's a reprint from. A tale destined to become a magnificent milestone in the Marvel Age of Comics, bringing you the great superhero which your wonderful avalanche of fan mail demanded. Step forward, Captain America. Your rightful place is here among the Avengers. Editor's note, we sincerely suggest you save this issue. We feel you will treasure it in time to come. Oh, here we go. At the bottom here it says something about... Subscription. The Avengers reprinted courtesy of Vista Publications Inc. Copyright 1963 and 1965. So I'm assuming that's where the earlier stories come from. So this first one must be from 1963. And this tells the story of the Avengers as they were then fighting Submariner out in the Antarctic, is it? He flies off, swims away, goes to this little comes through a little, I don't know, a sinkhole or a fishing hole or something like that, to where some native people, so Inuits, a human village as he calls it. I see masses of accursed humans, and he sees they're worshipping this idol, this man frozen within ice. Picks up the ice. Run, you weak, helpless mortals! Flee in terror before the rightful wrath of Namor. Thus shall all of mankind one day shriek in panic at the coming of the Submariner. And take your accursed idol with you. Go, spread the word. Let the world know that Namor is still a force to be reckoned with. Bah, I am filled with shame. I am disgraced. Has the mighty Namor been reduced to fighting helpless, fearful primitives? Right, yeah. So he throws the block of ice into the sea, and it starts to melt. I'm surprised about it melting actually. It must have floated for quite a while before it started melting. Then I'm surprised actually. What of the mysterious figure imprisoned within the block of ice? Silently, it floats away, unseen, unheard, until it hits the warm waters of the Gulf Stream. So that must got to be a little way out, hasn't it, to hit the waters of the Gulf Stream? I assumed it was like nearby to where they were fighting. And the Avengers were still looking for Submariner, for Namor, and that's how they came across the body floating out in the water, which I would assume the water there would have been frozen as everything else. So anyway, yeah, bit of a suspension of disbelief. And then he wakes up. So yeah, you got to suspend your disbelief completely, right? So yeah, I'm sure when he got frozen in ice, were they not off the coast of England where that drone plane was flying from? I remember it being like off the coast of England somewhere, and Bucky jumps onto the drone plane. Captain America follows him. Then it blows up. But Captain America fell off and landed in the water. But I didn't think it was anywhere near the Antarctic. I'll have to look back on that. Maybe it wasn't in England. Maybe it was up in Norway or something. Yeah, probably that's where it was taking off from, because it was going to go and crash in England, wasn't it? It wasn't going to take off from England. Anyway, I don't remember. But anyway, he got frozen in ice. He wakes up. He's still thinking about Bucky. His mind is still stuck in the past. He's gone a bit crazy. Yeah, there's not an awful lot of a mention about him being in the future, though, to be honest. Like, there's no oh, by the way, it's now 1963, and he'll be like, oh my god, 1963, why? It's just so many years have gone by. I'm sure he just starts trading instead. Yeah, and here we have the story. So I should have just looked at this rather than blinking, trying to remember what the story was. So where exactly are they, where this weapon is taken off from? Right, the European Theatre Operations. Seems like only yesterday, but it was more than 20 years ago that my teenage pal Bucky and I, while acting as security guards at the ETO Army Base, which is the European Theatre Operations, tried to stop an explosive drone-filled plane from taking to the air. Doesn't say exactly where in the world they are, though. As for me, I didn't care if I lived or died. I struck the water off the coast of Newfoundland and plummeted like a rock, with Bucky's face etched before me, and that is the last thing I remember. So Newfoundland is Canada, isn't it? So Canada is quite northerly. I think it's quite a cold northerly part of Canada, so that makes a bit more sense. I'm not sure what the Nazis were doing in Canada. Why is there a European Theatre of Operations Army base in Canada anyway? I mean, the Canada were allies, so maybe that was something to do. Maybe that was the Canadian base of where the Canadian forces were concentrated before they moved out to the war area. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't really matter. Right, so yeah, he goes back to. That's right. I get a bit confused now. As I said, it's another one I probably read a long time ago, and I should have reread it again before I started to do this video. But as usual, I was foolish and didn't do it. So they come back to America. I think they're back New York, and some guy freezes the Avengers with some special camera, and suddenly they're frozen. Steve Rogers, meanwhile, was down in the bottom of the submarine, and he comes out after everyone's gone. So, and he just sees a statue. Oh, that's weird. Strange. Those statues must be in honour of the Avengers, but they are not sculpted in typical poses. Oh well, it's no concern of mine. I have a whole new world to discover. A world which has advanced 20 years ahead of me. The girls are still as lovely as ever, but the fashions, the hairdos, how different they are. Sally, look, he resembles a figure I heard my father talk about, a mighty hero of years ago. Holy smoke, that can't be who I think it is. Of course, my older brother told me about him many times. It was Captain America. So yeah, here's Captain America now in modern day. So the difference. What makes me laugh is as the years go by, the distance and the time that he was frozen for changes so much more. So back then it was, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. No, he says 20 years, isn't he? So, and now it's like 70 odd years, isn't it? The time that he was in ice for. So, I think the super soldier serum that's in his blood was able to keep him alive through the freezingness. A normal person would probably not have survived the turning into ice. Right, now who is it that froze them anyway? I can't remember who it was who froze them. Oh, this is right. Yeah, this is Rick Jones makes an appearance because he sort of was his psychic for a while, wasn't he? Yeah, because he thinks he looks like Bucky. That's right. And he sees him. He says, "Oh, you look like Bucky." Right, they studied the photographs that were taken by other people at the time the Avengers were frozen. They see this guy's got a weapon, and so he gets his team brigade all over the city to try and find this guy who used this weapon to freeze the Avengers, so they can force him to unfreeze them. They manage to find him. Cap jumps in the window to confront them all, gives them a good old duffing up in the mighty Cap fashion, and it turns out to be an alien. That's right. It's an alien guy. I can't remember why he's frozen them, but he's stuck on Earth and he wants to get away from Earth, basically. Unhand me, I cannot bear physical contact with primitive beings. I come from a far distant galaxy. My name will be meaningless to you, as Earth tongues cannot even pronounce it. Centuries ago, due to an engine failure, my spaceship crashed on Earth, embedding itself deep into the bottom of the sea. Yeah, I meant Earthlings no harm. I roamed your planet seeking someone to help me free my ship, but those I saw feared me, attacked me. In self-defense, I used my ray gun on them, turning them to stone for 100 of your Earth hours. Okay. So he's saying that he's the Medusa. That he was mistaken for Medusa in the ancient times. Yeah, and the idea is he turned the Avengers to stone because he met the Submariner who promised to help him free his ship if he took out the Avengers for him. So there you go. But it's only going to turn to stone for 100 hours according to this. So yeah, he turns them back anyway. It's working. They're returning to normal. Meanwhile, far beneath the surface of the sea, in this now deserted Imperial castle, a furious, frustrated Prince Namor observes the scene above through his undersea scanner. My plan has failed. The one who calls himself Captain America has robbed me of my victory. But this will teach me a lesson. Whatever the Submariner must do, he must do alone. I am still the most powerful mutant on Earth, half human, half sea creature. My brain is agile, my energy inexhaustible. I must keep striking until the Avengers are destroyed. There you go. Right, a troop of his elite guard turn up. Right, now, the next day, the nervous alien leads the Avengers to a remote, deserted island. So I, for some reason, thought the battle with Submariner was around about the same time as they found Captain America. But it's obviously a while later. They've gone back to America, they got frozen to stone, found an alien whose ship is trapped. They decide to, try and help him to get his ship out of the water, using a Deus Ex Machina use of the hammer. Somehow it's able to make magnetic waves. Sighting upon the entrapped spaceship through his TV viewer, the mighty force slowly rotates his enchanted hammer over the hull, directing an irresistible torrent of cosmic magnetic waves toward the alien craft. I'm not sure how many times that's been used. I don't remember ever seeing him use magnetic waves out of his hammer before, but apparently this steadily ever-increasing force, they pull at the heavy object without let-up, without ever slackening until, boom! It worked! You freed the ship for, with his magnetic powers that I'm pretty sure haven't been mentioned before or since, have they? But anyway, he's got magnetic powers. Whatever. Right, so then Submariner turns up with his guards, his whatever they're called, Praetorian guards or his loyal soldiers anyway, and almighty fisticuffs breaks out. Now, obviously, if you know the comic, is it The Invaders? It's set in wartime, World War II, and Captain America and Namor are allies. And this being obviously after that, set in the 60s, but for some reason, to my mind, they didn't know each other in this comic. I'm sure he doesn't recognise him in this comic. So that to me is like a... I don't know if that was ever addressed, why he doesn't know him when they meet up. They somehow both get amnesia after the events of World War II. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that he was... I mean, obviously, but maybe he hated Nazis more than he hated the West, and that's why he was helping them out. But whatever. This time after the war, he's now enemies with them. Or maybe there was some kind of retcon or something like that. So Namor and Thor getting into some fisticuffs. Well, I'm not actually sure if actually Captain America has met Namor yet so far in this comic, but I'm pretty sure when he does meet him, there's no recognition. Meanwhile, a sharp-eyed, colourful figure watches everything that transpires, branding all the amazing details into his memory. I know so little about this new crop of costumed fighters. My best bet is to watch them in action and see how powerful they really are. Their courage is undeniable. Even the Submariner Mariner is a fearless foe. If there had been such men in my day, what epic battles we might have fought. Yeah, well, there kind of were those people in your day, because in The Invaders, you teamed up with blinking Namor. Thor's hammer is the most awesome weapon I've ever seen. There we are. Still battling. Now, I think Rick Jones is about to get in some trouble. Stop, I still have an ace in the hole. You forget about the boy. He is our prisoner. Nay, he is our hostage. Cap says, the lad is in danger. This I will not tolerate. Don't worry about me, guys. Clobber those goons once for all. Make one move towards me and the boy's life is what? Another one, but who? The name's Captain America, Namor. I'll make sure that you never forget it, like you'd have, like you already have forgotten it, because you guys fought side by side during wartime as the invaders, and now he has forgotten your name. And it was 20 years, I know, but come on, yeah. And then they decide to make the island is breaking apart. I'm not quite sure what made that happen. He's stronger than me, but I'll find a way to outmaneuver him. But at that moment, a thunderous eruption shakes the tiny isle as a deafening roar is heard from beneath the surface. The island is breaking apart, look! And then before the eyes of all those present, a titanic undersea explosion hurls a towering spray of sea, mud and stone high into the air. Back to the depths, my warriors. We have won. The sea itself shall destroy our enemies. Even the Avengers cannot survive a gigantic undersea earthquake, yet for some reason my heart is heavy. They were worthy foes, they deserved a more fitting end. But as he is to later learn, the submariner has acted too hastily, for it is not an undersea earthquake which has occurred, it is merely the low-surface launching of an alien spaceship, and by the time the strange craft emerges from the deep, Namor and his followers are already out of sight. So yeah, that's what broke up the fight, basically. This ship took off. The alien guy who turned him all to stone is going back to the stars, returning to the stars from whence he came. But Namor is gone, and so is our chance to defeat him. But yeah, so Captain America doesn't know Namor. Namor doesn't know him. So there must have been something that happened at the end of the Invaders. I might try and see if I can collect all that Invaders. I'll keep an eye out for it. I've got a few issues the other day because I've got the first appearance of Baron Blood and Union Jack. But I might try and pick up the rest of that run. It's not too long, actually, and they're not that expensive either, I don't think, those comics. It's maybe there's something at the end happens where their minds are both affected and they forget the events of being friends during the wartime. This is right. We welcome you, Captain America, to the ranks of the Avengers. So that's how Cap joined the Avengers. I think this is from 1963, but I'll put the actual thing in the blog. But there is one whose heart is still heavy, still filled with a dread fear. It's Rick Jones. He's the greatest guy I ever met. I can tell the others want me to be his partner, but what about the Hulk? Yeah, I can tell he wants me to be his partner, but what about the Hulk? Yeah, so that's Rick Jones thinking about the Hulk, because Rick Jones is kind of like the eternal sidekick. He's been sidekick to Captain Marvel, he's been sidekick to the Hulk, he's been sidekick to Captain America. he's had his own powers at some point, hasn't he? I'm sure he got some kind of power cosmic at some point, didn't he? I can't really remember. Not followed him too greatly, but yeah, he's a very versatile character. He's been in so many different. I wonder. No, I was going to say for a second. Maybe he's appeared in more comic books than any other character. He's like the Stan Lee of the comic book world. Like Stan Lee appears in all the movies. Rick Jones appears in all the comics, like in a little cameo role somewhere. Right now, this is a wartime tale. Captain America and Bucky in the daring days of World War II. Right, they've been captured by the Red Skull, who obviously wants to gloat and tell them his origin story. All new, never before revealed story, but I think it was originally printed in 1965. So obviously he's given they're not treating their prisoner with respect. The Geneva Convention means nothing to these nefarious Nazis. He has passed out again, Herr Skull. Don't just stand there, fool. Revive him. I am not finished with him yet. He should have known he could not sneak into Germany by submarine without our Wolfpack torpedo boats capturing him. Congratulations, American swine. You came here seeking the real Red Skull, and you have found him. There you go. So the Red Skull is basically talking to Captain America while he's got him bound up. Captain America's being feisty, as you'd expect from Captain America. Taking every opportunity to goad him, and he tries to break free a couple of times. I think he tries to, because his feet are shackled, he tries to take him out of his boots. Right, but this is the retelling of Red Skull's origin. He's just basically living on the street, poor, being a thief. Even as a thief, I was not successful. I was too small, too weak. I was an easy prey for those who were bigger. And then one day he's working as a bellhop. Is that the term they use? Yeah, bellboy in the hotel. And Hitler's in town. He's laying down the tray, and Hitler's going through one of his angry diatribes. You have failed, your Führer. When you fail me, you fail Germany. But mein Führer, it was not my fault. I did my best. So, failure is your best? You incompetent fool? You bungler? Why? Have I no one to turn to? None to defend. Why have I no one to turn to? None to depend on. Must I create my own race of perfect Aryans? I could teach that bellboy to do a better job than you. And then, in that moment of supreme destiny, he turned to me. You cringing, trembling, subservient nobody, you are less than nothing to me. But I am your leader, your Führer. I am Hitler. The way you look at me, the envy, the jealousy in your eyes, the sheer blazing hatred. I know those emotions. You too hate all mankind. What an inspiration this gives me. You shall be my greatest achievement. I shall make a perfect Nazi of you. You will serve me. You will obey my right arm. You will never fail me. And so he decides to suddenly just to turn this bellboy as a vanity project into the greatest Aryan Nazi. He gets his people to train him. But he's not happy. He's like, no, what are you doing to him? I don't want him to become another mere stormtrooper. I want him to be evil personified. From this moment on, I personally will supervise his training. So Hitler trained Red Skull, this bellboy, this poor kid off the streets. But obviously he, with his upbringing, his nurture, turned him into, he's already a hateful person, already a criminal. So he took to his training and, basically. Captain America decides to make a move. He's got his feet untied. He springs up on his arms. They are actually tied, but they are loose. They're not like bound together. They have got enough giving them for him to be able to move his arms and legs. But yeah, unfortunately, Red Skull takes him out, continues telling his story. Yeah, his power grew until I was second only to Hitler himself in supreme authority. At my command, cities would fall, armies would be destroyed. You've made your point, Skull. I've heard that even Hitler fears you. Even he can no longer control you, for you've grown too powerful. But I'm not Hitler. I'm an American, and my breed just doesn't scare easily. Brave words, Captain America. Too bad you have not the strength to back them up. What's happening to me? My legs won't support me. The room is spinning. The chemical has finally taken effect. He is completely helpless now. Don't just stand there, fool. Summon Schultz at once. Jawohl, Red Skull. Perfect. The potion we administered has worked in exactly the time I predicted, and he never suspected a thing. My chemical has wiped his mind clean. It is now an empty slate for you to write whatever you desire upon it. When he awakens, you will be his master. He will obey you blindly. And here we see Cap sea-kiling him at the end there. May the power of the Third Reich last 1,000 years. And he's now a sleeper agent, where he's sent by the villainous Red Skull. I think he's going to go and kill some important general or something. So, meet Captain America fighting at our side. We cannot fail. If and without firearms, he is the most powerful fighting machine we have ever witnessed. Yeah. So now he's training with his new troops. He's getting ready. Higher, Red Skull. Good. You learn your lessons well. On that swinging pendulum is a photograph of America's top military commander. He is my enemy. Shoot him. Perfect bullseye. You did it without flinching, without hesitation. Now you are ready for the real thing. Right, meanwhile we see Bucky. Looks like Bucky's about to be killed by a firing squad. Ready, aim, and fire! But none of them have got bullets in their guns. It's just a nasty trick done by the Nazis to make people think they were going to get executed, when in fact, it was just to psychologically, damage them. Right, Bucky decides that enough is enough. Guess again, Nazi, you just shot off your big flappy mouth once too often, and now you're going to eat those words. The rest of the people who are, part of that fake execution, they all uprise as well. Bucky manages to escape, I believe. Red Skull takes Captain America to see Hitler. Hitler's scared. He thinks Red Skull's against him. You brought him to kill me! Assassin, traitor, how could you do this to your loving Führer? You misjudge me, he comes to serve you. See how he salutes you? He has been drugged, he is completely under my control. He shall kill the Allied commanders one by one for us. It will be our greatest triumph. Yeah, it is true. His eyes are glassy, blank. Now I can do what I have always dreamed of doing. At last I can strike him. At last I can... Yow! You are too careless, Führer. You forgot his reflexes. I cannot control them. I don't know if you can see that panel very, very easily. Yeah, Hitler just broke his hand, going to punch Cap, and Cap put his shield up, even though he's mind-controlled. He does not mind-control to leave himself defenceless. Right, so the Nazis, under silent cover of darkness, with jet black chutes, the small killer squad drifts to Earth. Skillfully landing at a lonely, prearranged spot, they are quickly met by a civilian-garbed Nazi agent. And then quickly in here, this is the building. The general is in his study. You must move fast. He is scheduled to leave within 5 minutes. Oh yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, this mission was going on. Bucky found out what was going on. He's gone to where this elite guard that were going to go with Captain America to take out this general, and he's taken over one of the... he's basically knocked him out, stolen his uniform, and he's basically kept his head down, joined in with the mission, basically. But so he's in disguise. He sees the plan. He starts taking them out. He starts fighting them back, trying to say to Cap, "Don't do it, Cap. Don't do it." Well, but he's being held off. So yeah, he's basically kept fighting. He throws a grenade at the last guy, and he sort of catches it, but the pin's still in it. And then Bucky's able to knock him out. So he's taking out these two guys who are trying to kill him. But meanwhile, Captain America's being sent to kill this. What? Nazis? With Captain America? It can't be! You can guess why we are here, General. It must be done. We have no our orders. There is no other way. But you, Captain America, you're pointing that gun at me. No, not you. Fire, fire. What do you wait? Why do you wait? You have your orders. Fire. I cannot. Something is stopping me. I can't. The drug was not strong enough to make him do this, but he must do it. It must be his hand on the trigger, even if I must do it for him. The shot is fired, and then pandemonium breaks loose, as we shall see next chapter. Don't dare miss it. No, we won't. Yeah, so basically Cap is able to, at the last minute, Drugged by the evil Red Skull, Captain America unwittingly becomes part of a plot to assassinate the Allies' high command. But at the last crucial second, the realization of what he is about to do causes him to return to normal. And then, Swinehund, you deflected my shot! You made me miss! Get me security, I want every available man. Red alert, we're under attack. Kate, take cover, General, I'll hold them off. There you go. Come in shooting, they're Nazi commandos. And Bucky comes in. He's Cap's back to normal again. He's fighting the Krauts. So yeah, they managed to sort everything out. Right, now meanwhile, Red Skull has got other plans. He's got some guys, I think, in a prisoner of war camp in Britain. Something called Project Vanish. He's got some guys who are setting a plan in an operation. They're in prisoner of war camp in the UK. They've got this guy's an undercover agent now. He's been sent there. They know he's there. Yeah, so they hatch an escape plan. Well, this one guy escapes. He's going to find this Project Vanish. Right, and Bucky and Cap. It's quite weird. They had undercover aliases while they was fighting the war. There wasn't just Bucky and Cap at all times like they were in the film. They had to sort of sneak out of their unit to go and fight the Nazis. Basically, they couldn't do it from within their unit. So it was a really strange origin that they had. They kept getting in trouble. So probably I think they got done for blinking desertion or something at one point. I'm not too sure, but yeah. So they're trying to. So there they are in their normal guises. Right, and now this guy, this escaped prisoner of war, who was really a secret agent, has got this Project Vanish. It's a gun which makes weapons vanish, basically. So it can be used to destroy all the Allies' armaments. I'm not sure if it also kills people as well. I'm assuming it will make people vanish also, which is obviously going to be death, isn't it? So Captain America smashes it with his shield. Alright, and meanwhile the tanks have started firing on their position. He uses the Vanisher gun to make the tank disappear, or part of it disappear. But I think Cap's wounded from the he's exhausted, or he's had the breath knocked out of him by that explosion. So he convinces him to put it onto full intensity, because I think he knows that full intensity is not perfected, and so he puts it on full intensity and it blows up in his face. Yeah, he says, "Ha! They're fleeing. That leaves me alone with the ray. Soon it'll be in the hands of the Nazis. Then go, take it. Just don't fire it at anyone else. Don't set it to full intensity. Fool, I wouldn't have thought of it, but now I'll wipe out everyone with one more blast at full intensity." But as the fateful trigger is squeezed, it blows up in his face. I tricked him into pressing the full intensity control. I knew the ray wasn't perfected yet. Wasn't yet perfected. So yeah, it blows up in his face. And meanwhile, his sergeant, or one of his officers in charge, is looking for that gold bricking yardbird, Steve Rogers. Yeah. So there you go. So it must be very hard to fight crime while still trying to maintain during wartime as a soldier, while still maintaining, your civilian soldier, not civilian, but a soldier identity. But that was how the story went in those days. I just realised a little corner's fallen off this comic book as well. I thought there was a bit of paper on the table just then. It looked like a piece of comic. He's fallen off the comic book. It's fallen off the corner there. Never mind. Right, so that's it. That's the birthday books for this week. Once again, I didn't blink and read them recently enough to remember the story that well. I have read them all, but say it was a couple of weeks back now. But yeah, that's what I've been meaning to do, is really read them like just before doing the synopsis, making the blog first and then doing this video, but because I keep ending up having to rush it before going to my girlfriend's house. So yeah, check out the blog, the more in-depth information on there, hopefully, as long as I don't forget to do that properly as well. And cheers for watching, and yeah, come back next Wednesday, look at some of my comics, and Friday, have a look at some more of my birthday books in depth. And on Monday, I'm going to post up like a little sample, a little teaser for the Wednesday Counting Comics video. Just picking out 25 comics. Every Monday I'm going to do that. Just pick out 25 comics from the box that I'm going to be going through on the Wednesday. And yeah, if I can work out the logistics of that, I will do that. Anyway, cheers for watching. Bye. Oh, I've got to tag a couple of people, haven't I? That's what I've been doing recently. So let's tag Geeky Pete, someone who just added me. Go and add Geeky Pete. He's cool. And go and do, what's his name? Geeky GMT, is it? Geeky GMT? He's a guy who lives in Sweden, but he's Danish. And he can't speak Spanish. He can't speak Spanish or roll his R's. So, but yeah, go and add those two guys. There'll be little symbols up in the corners. I put one. No, that's my up there. I'm not sure which way the camera goes when I actually do it. In one corner will be my little thing to subscribe my channel, and in another corner there'll be a thing for Geeky GMT channel, and in another corner there'll be Geeky Pete's channel. And you add all those if you're not added them already. Okay, cheers guys.